Before the 1940s, women would not leave the house without wearing a pair of silk stockings. It was inappropriate to be bare-legged in public. Stockings came up to mid-thigh and had to be held up with garters attached to corsets or girdles. A garter belt could also be worn to hold them up. Before the late 1930s, fabrics were not elasticized, so they weren't very stretchy. Hose were woven into the silhouette of a leg, a process called fully fashioned or on tubular knitters. Sizes were determined by the foot size, with plus size, called outsize, stockings available in wider leg fits. Once rayon and nylon were invented, stockings began to be made from those instead. They looked like silk stockings, but without a heavy shine. They were touted as a new product which will give women sheer, ringless hosiery that will not wrinkle, run, or wear out. While not entirely snag-proof, they did snag less and run less, so they would hold up longer than silk, depending on the thickness and type of weave. 1940s hosiery were sheer and nude-colored, but darker than the skin, and had seams up the backs, where fully fashioned styles were sewn together. Seamless stockings came about in the late 1940s, but never fully took off in fashion until the 1960s. Stockings had reinforced toes and heels, with the Cuban heel design on most. Cuban heels were a square-edged block of darker reinforced knit that could be seen above the shoe heel. While certainly fashionable, they were mostly a practical design. During World War II, any available silk, nylon, and sometimes rayon were needed to make parachutes, tents, and other fine materials. Women were asked to donate their used stockings to the war effort. Once word got out that there might be a shortage of silk and nylon stockings, women flooded the stores, buying up all they could, thus creating a drastic inflation of pricing. Once the war board stepped in to regulate production and cap prices, demand settled down, but they generally were still too expensive for women to afford to replace often. 1940 stockings became a precious commodity. They snagged and tore easily, and it was hard to keep a pair around for a long time. Women had to conserve their stockings for very special occasions and fought over any that might be available for purchase. Most of the time, they had no choice but to go bare-legged. To wear stockings, especially with seams, was just part of their wardrobe. Sundays were often the only days women wore their stockings. The government went so far as to ask churches to tell women it was all right to attend without stockings. To get the 1940s nylon look without hose, women began to stain their legs with brown household items like gravy browning, coffee, and cocoa powder to give the appearance of stockings. Soon, enough leg cosmetics were developed that stained the legs a tan color, sort of the first self-tanners. The first version stained dresses and ran off in the rain. Newer versions were better and came in liquid, cream, or powder that was mixed with water. Several different shades were usually offered to complement different skin tones. All of the makeup companies, such as Max Factor and Elizabeth Arden, got on board. Some women took it a step further and drew a seam on the backs of their legs with brown or black eyebrow or eyeliner pencil. often using a friend to help get it straight. After the war, nylon stockings returned, and women went right back to wearing them. DuPont denounced immediately after the war that nylons would be made again for the public. They had some production issues and underestimated demand, so for over a year, crowds mobbed stores, creating nylon riots every time a shipment came in. There was little variety in stockings in the 1940s. The differences were in the minute details. Silk, nylon, rayon, cotton, and wool were the main types of materials. With silk and nylon being in short supply, most women chose rayon or cotton stockings. Rayon could be high shine like silk or low shine like cotton. It breathed well and held up nicely against wear. Its one drawback was that it lacked any stretch, making the perfect fit harder to achieve. There were three main types of textures 1940 stockings came in. Smooth, most stockings are knit smooth with some sheerness. Mesh, small holes make stockings breathe easier and were ideal for work or sportswear. Novelty mesh are unique patterns knit into stockings for fashion aesthetics only. The weight or thread count of stockings also contributed to texture. For day or workwear, a heavy knit cotton or wool stocking was the most practical, similar to tights today. Heavy sport knit stockings were plain or fancy designs of rib stripes or zigzags. Often work and afternoon wear could be a medium gauge smooth rayon stocking, while evening and special occasion wear preferred sheer, almost see-through knits. 1940s hosiery colors were limited to a few shades of a natural skin tone and white. Natural colors were called beige for your everyday wear, sun tones for a summer sun-kissed golden tan, taupe for special occasions which were darker than natural skin tone, often blended with gray threads. Darker colors made legs look thinner. White stockings were mostly worn by children, teens, and women dressing for weddings or nurses, or in spring pastel colors. Stocking sizes came in foot size and 3 lengths, 28, 30, and 32 inches. To get your seams straight, roll your stockings down, then pull on your stockings from the front and back, guiding the seam with your right thumb. Most women pull stockings on from the sides, but this will only make getting the seam straight more difficult. Put lotion on rough spots on your feet at night so they won't snag your hose. Wash by hand in mild soap, rinsing twice, and rolling in a towel and laying flat to dry. Repair by mending. Thank you for watching my video. Please like and subscribe, and have a wonderful evening.